Okay, guys, welcome to this week's Fife Property weekly market update show. So this is the right across all the estate agents in Fife. I tell you what, there's something different to what it was this time last year, and I'm going to discuss it. Has demand actually petered off? But there's something no right. And so let me take you through this process and compare it to where we were last year and compare it to whereas there's conflicting messages throughout this for the Fife property market, probably right across Scotland as well. So we're going to look first of all at the number of properties actually come on in the last week, and the number of properties actually went under offer through all the estate agents. Now it's quite a normal trend actually. It's happened right throughout this time of year itself. So this is, let me show you, this is not this week just past. This is the previous week. This is a year ago. So this is the last week in January 2021. So the key here is look at the number of properties that came onto market in January 2021, the last week, 110, and look at the number of properties that actually went under offer and sold, 159. Demand was ballistic at that point in time, grossly outstripping supply. We'll look at the month to date next week because that'll be a good indicator as well. But initially, when you jump onto this week just past had a comparison, it actually shows a demand drop in the numbers. So we've got 127 coming to market in the week, but we've got 100 only went under offer and sold. That's a huge difference from what it was last year, 110 versus 159. So is it the case that demand is actually starting to fall off for the properties? Is inflation worrying people? Is are interest rates actually an issue for someone and they're actually holding back in terms of buying because they're concerned that interest rates will begin to rise in the coming year? So let me talk you through this because there is a conflicting message here as well. So this is actually the Fife property market over the last week. So don't get confused with the year before. This is actually last week. You can see that up there, January 2022, week 4. So in the Cooper area, 10 properties instructed, 6 went under offer, 5 in East Neuk versus 4, 10 St Andrews versus 5, 50% demand in the St Andrews area. That has been happening for the last month. Leadmouth 9 versus 16. Leadmouth is beginning to recover. It's back to its normality. Dunfermline 39 versus 29. We can see Glenorchy is 13 versus 12. So again, Glenorchy is quite stable in terms of the market. Kirkcaldy 41 versus 28. So Kirkcaldy's actually dropped as well for demand. So overall, as I said before, 127 versus 100. So 127 properties came onto the market. 100 properties actually sold. Just for people that have joined us, this time last year, 110 properties came onto market and 159 sold. So it shows you the demand compared to last year is not there. It's actually less than what's coming on. So what's actually driving that? So here's the Boxing Day bounce, though, which is a conflicting message for me. This is Boxing Day bounce compared to the year before. So let's look back at that again. So we're saying that the number of properties actually getting put under offer and actually sold in the week is a lot less than actually the period before in comparison. But what the conflicting message I can see here is, though, the dotted line there is the previous year from the Boxing Day bounce. So that's from the 25th of December and going all the way up into January. So that's the demand for the number of people coming onto websites, onto our website, and it's up to here, okay? But you can see in the current Boxing Day bounce, look at the demand is way above what it was the year before. Way above. So, and it does drop towards the end, but that's not the end of the world because that will probably recover. That's just an admin thing. But we're still got round about the 1,500 people every single day looking for property in the Fife area now, in terms of our website, in terms of our demand, and it's a lot more than it was the period before, which was averaging round about 1,200. So there's a huge amount of demand there, but yet it's not coming through in the figures. So are people actually holding off as a natural result? Because remember, this is the numbers right across every single estate agent in Fife. So every single estate agent we're listing all together, summed together, we're listing 127 properties in the week and we're actually selling 100. So a lot less demand and supply, but it's the other way around when you look at the in comparison to the number of people coming onto websites. So it's a conflict. We'll watch out. We'll look at the month to date for January once we in next week's episode. So watch out for that because it'll be a real eye opener, I think. But we'll actually keep an eye on this demand because I'm actually intrigued as to see if that's going to do it. This could tell us a good indication early on if the market is beginning to cool because a number of factors like interest rates, like inflation, and issues like that. Okay, so let's look on what's actually gone under offer in the week. We're also going to look at what's actually sold as well. Give me 2 seconds. So this is Braehead Cottage. Apparently, it was old dental surgery in Cooper. And this actually was offers over 350,000. This is actually now sold. So if you have a similar property to this, this was actually relisted because a previous buyer had actually something that happened with their property. They couldn't get it sold, and that was conditional upon that. When they said it was sold, they had a title issue, so they couldn't buy this one. So we relisted this one, and within weeks it was gone away again. So it shows you there's still real good demand for these types of properties. 350,000 offers over, and it was a 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom detached property with a beautiful garden in the back. So if you've got a property like this and you're considering selling it, well, that's round about the price, 350,000 for this type of property in the Cooper area. Okay, so the other one was as well, no surprise there as well, Pinkerton and Crail. This was a 180,000 offers over. This was a 2-bedroom semi-detached bungalow. This needed a fair bit of work done it. This had 8 viewers within that 1 week. They had 4 offers on it already. So 3 people have actually missed out on this property. Now, this went for a really good price above the 180,000. So if you've got a property like this, it needs a bit of work in the East Neuk area and the Crail area particularly. There is people looking for your type of property, and we've given you an indication about where the price is in terms of that just now. So if that interests you, please feel free to message us direct or contact us anytime soon. I'll quickly jump on to what's actually coming soon. So let me just have a wee quick look in terms of this. So coming soon, watch out for St Andrews Road at Largo Ward. We have a 5-bedroom detached property on a substantial plot, and apparently it's got a great finish inside. Our Jimmy Mullen's been inside this property, and he speaks really highly of it. So watch out for that one. We'll probably be doing pre-portals this week for that. So remember about pre-portals, they only appear on our social media channels first. So if you're wanting to see this property before it hits websites and be taken around this property and the virtual viewing, the walkthrough that we do from start to finish, and to find out about the initial price point of these properties, then follow our Facebook pages for the region that you're looking for. So in other words, if you're looking for the Leedmouth area, follow Fife Properties Leedmouth. If you're looking for East Neuk, follow Fife Properties East Neuk. St Andrews, Fife Properties St Andrews. Cooper, Fife Properties Cooper area. So all these areas that we've got offices set up for on Facebook are unique to the postal town area. So for example, Achtermurty is in the Cooper postal code area. And the same as St Andrews Balmullo is KY16, so that'll be in the St Andrews postal code area. East Neuk KY10, KY9, that is the East Neuk Fife Properties page. So you know, hopefully you'll understand that, and hopefully you'll see the process of that. So we do have 44 Warwick Close Lookers actually coming up. That's a 2-bedroom end terraced property. Great location and close to, well, obviously Lookers is about 4 miles maybe outside, 4 or 5 miles outside St Andrews, so easy to get access. It is actually on the Fife Coastal Path as well as you go through, because I've been running that route, so it's easy access, and also cycling as well is easy to get into St Andrews from that area. And it has I believe it has a box room as well, which you could take a wee bit off the bedroom and make the box room into another single bedroom, a good size one actually. So you could end up converting that, if it has that, into a 3-bedroom. So watch out for that pre-portal this week. Toll Road and Cellar Dyke. Yep, we've got one coming on there. That's a 2-bedroom semi-detached with parking. It's a great price point for first-time buyers, but we will be talking about that in the pre-portal, which I do on Tuesday. I'll be going around that one on Tuesday, so watch out for that on Tuesday. I will possibly live stream that. I tend to pre-record now and just put it up because you get better quality in the footage. Plus, you've got more flexibility to zoom in and zoom out. as opposed to live streaming. Okay, completed this week, in other words, keys handed over. Now, this is another important one because it gives you, if you've got a similar type of property to this, a good indication if the price point of these properties. Now, whether you're selling or not, doesn't make any difference really, but the good thing is if you know the price point and you've got a mortgage and your mortgage is significantly lower than what you thought before in terms of loan to value. In other words, if you had a house at 100,000 valued at now, your initial mortgage was maybe 60,000, so your loan to value would be now 60%, which means you'd be less risk to a bank, therefore you'd get a lower mortgage rate if you went to remortgage or do another deal with an existing bank or another lender in terms of that. Whereas maybe when you first took it out, it was 90% loan to value. In other words, you got 90% of the value of the house at the time, which means you were a higher risk, which means that you were probably paying a higher interest rate. So that's why these prices are actually quite good, because it gives you a good indication. We also have our instant valuation tool on this, which you can use as well on this post, which will give you a good indication as well about how much your house could be worth around about. It's pretty accurate. A lot of people have actually used it, and they actually keep telling us it's one of the best in the industry for using. So we've honed and developed this instant valuation tool to make it so easy for you to understand the price without actually even having to speak to anyone. You can just go in and use it online. Okay, so Orchard House, if anybody knows Orchard Grove, Orchard House, it was the old Linwood Hall in Leven that was converted into apartments. We sold a 2-bedroom apartment in there. It was a massive apartment. I think it was 120 square meters or thereabout, maybe a bit bigger actually. It was almost the size of the lounge. You had to get a taxi from one end to the other. That's how big it was. That was listed at offers over 180,000. It sold for 200,000, so it was 10% over the home report value. That tends to be what we're getting in the Leedmouth area, about the 10% more than what the home report value is. Holly Park in Cooper, that was a 2-bedroom semi-detached bungalow. That was listed at offers over 185,000, and we managed to achieve 17,000 over the home report value for that property as well. Now, 4 people missed out on this property at a closing date. So that's a 2-bedroom semi-detached bungalow in Cooper is round about the 200,000 point at that time. Now, that would be the valuation now in a home report if you put that back on, but you know yourself, that'll probably go a bit higher now, and it could be a lot more than what you expect. So 2-bedroom semi-detached bungalows in the Cooper area and the Holly Park area are actually going for more than 200,000 now. Sunny Known Promenade, leave-in, that's concluded. Keys were handed over. 3-bedroom detached cottage. It had stunning views. It was listed at 360,000. It got 15,000 over the home report value. There is people that missed out on that property. So if you have a similar property to the Sunny Known Promenade on the Promenade area, and around about 375,000, you will be getting touching 400,000 for that now. That similar type of property now, and if a new home report was done. So Carslogie Road in Cooper, we had a 3-bedroom detached property requiring upgrading. It was listed at 240,000 and it sold. However, we did have 3 other people that offered on this property and they missed out on it. So the 3-bedroom detached properties requiring upgrading in the Cooper area are actually quite popular for people to add value probably. And the great opportunity about properties like this is it's a golden opportunity for someone to put their own stamp on it. Alder Terrace in Methil, 2-bedroom end terraced house. That was listed at 110,000. So offers over 110,000, and 1 person actually missed out on that as well. Quickly, let me talk about some of the brilliant articles we did this, and we actually went deep dive into more information for these. So yesterday, if you're an investor, a buy-to-let investor, or if you're concerned about the future of the buy-to-let market in the Fife area, or maybe right across the UK, to be honest, because we do have statistics for the UK. Richard and myself, Richard Cook, the lettings director, and myself, we actually discussed the future of the buy-to-let market in comparison to the whole of the UK market as well. And we came up with some really good information there. Now, the key here is Fife rents are up 7.6% in the last 12 months. Fife house prices are up 14.8% in the last 12 months. Fife landlords have helped by ultra low mortgage rates, and also the most important thing for landlords now, and we discussed this in the show in depth and detail about the new EPC rules for Fife landlords and landlords right across the UK. It could end up costing a landlord or an investor more than £10,000 to comply with the new legislation which will be coming in for the EPCs, which is the energy efficiency of their properties. If you've got a real low rating, in other words, in the E and D category, you might have to spend a small fortune in upgrading it. But we do talk about that in this show. So if you get a chance, click on that link. It's in this post, and you can go through that to your own leisure. There's podcasts on there as well if you want to use for yourself. So we talk about that, how will Fife rents continue to rise. We also talk about will Fife growth, house price growth slow, and will mortgage rates rise as a result, and how that implications, and as I said, the EPCs and that. But there's a huge article in there. 4 minutes to read the article, but we do an hour-long show because we go in depth and deep dive into this information and these topics. The other one as well on here is Fife owners. This is actually quite a good one. Fife homeowners pocketed 112,000 each in the last 20 years. 112,000 up in value in the last 20 years on the average Fife house price. And that's a phenomenal amount, 112,000. So we actually go into detail in that. It's an increase of 155% in terms of value of the house, because the average house price now in Fife is around about 185,700. And it also means when you adjust for inflation over the last 2 decades, it means that actually Fife house prices in real terms have actually gone up 83%. So why would you invest in property? Yep. If you ask your granny and granddad, should they have invested in property? What do you think they would have said? Yep. Because they were buying them for thousands and hundreds of pounds at the time, 20, 30 years ago. And literally, when you think about it, about 40 years ago, actually, when you think about it now, these properties will be worth huge amounts of money. And yet, so money invested, and just demonstrated it there in the last 20 years, you've actually appreciated in Fife property prices over and above inflation by 83%. That's a good return in terms of your investment. So we go into detail in this article, and again, you can click on that. The article's 3 minutes to read. The show is an hour long again, and that's myself and Jimmy Mullen that go into that detail for this show. We talk about Fife house prices, what you can do, how you can actually leverage your wealth and your position, and that brings me nicely on to our wealth creation show tomorrow night. So wealth creation show tomorrow night. Look, put your hand up if you would like to make more money and have more time. Let's be honest, I'll do that. And put your hand up if you like more time, wealth to create that and enjoy it. That's me as well. Well, that's what the wealth creation show is tomorrow night. Every single week, we're going to be talking about developing wealth over the next year. Myself and James Watson, we're going to be talking about developing wealth over the next year on the wealth creation show tomorrow night at 6:30. Now, I have put links in here where we'll be streaming the show live. You can join in if you want. You can ask questions if you want. We will answer them directly. So it might be something you're thinking, should I be investing in that? Should I be doing this or should I be doing that? Is this a great idea to do this or a great idea to do that? And we'll give you our honest opinion. Now, I've been in property investment and wealth creation for the last 30 years. James is a new entrant. He's been in the last 3 or 4 years. So we give different perspectives. Like, I'm old school, he's new school, and that is a great combination for complementary, for advice for yourself. So while we're helping each other develop our wealth over that period of time, you're also taking part in that, and you get that information for free. There's no hidden catch here. We are actually literally telling you how to develop wealth for yourself. Whether you take that advice or not, it's entirely up to you. You don't need to listen to us, but we'll still be wealthy as a result of that, because we will happily share that information. So tomorrow night as well, for a buyer, this is quite important, because we're going to be talking the main subject. We'll be talking about something, things that are happening in news in the last week. But the most important point here is for a buyer. If you're a buyer out there, and we're going to be talking about property sourcing for investors. Now, it's just as valid for property sourcing for buyers. Because when you think about it, if investors are getting there before you, well, why would you not learn the same techniques that they're using to get in there before them to buy your first house? You would understand that straight away. So you're actually getting access to that information about how they do it, all these years and years of honing and developing this information to get that right in order to get there before everybody else. But you're actually getting access to that information as well. So we will be broadcasting that live tomorrow night at 6:30. So watch out for the Wealth Creation Show. As I said as well, more instant valuation tools on there. So feel free to tune on that information. And that's me, guys. If you've got any more information or any questions for later on, please feel free to comment. Give us a thumbs up, share this post, like this post, and whatever you do something, because it gives it a bit more social traction. People will see it as a result, and therefore somebody might come along and join you. And this might be your next joint venture partner in your wealth creation for the coming year. And you might not even know it. So there's a golden opportunity out there for everyone. What is luck all about? Well, luck is when opportunity and preparation meets. That's the only difference. That's how luck happens, really, at the end of the day. You've prepared so much and you don't know when it's coming, but you have belief in yourself that something will happen. So you keep preparing for that opportunity to arrive. And when it arrives, you're ready. That is the point of readiness. That is how luck happens and how it's created. So what does luck stand for? Labour under correct knowledge. That's all it comes down to. It's as simple as that. And I have been so lucky over the last 30 years. And until next week, guys, I'll see you then. But for the people that are watching and want to join us tomorrow night at 6:30 at the Wealth Creation Show, please feel free. I'll see you there as well.